Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into a system that honestly has powered some of the most successful organizations you can think of. I'm talking Google, the Gates Foundation, you name it. It's a simple framework for taking those huge, ambitious ideas and actually making them happen. And it all boils down to one simple truth. You know the feeling, right? You've got this brilliant, game-changing idea. But here's the thing, and this comes straight from the legendary venture capitalist John Doerr. Ideas, they're easy, they're cheap. Execution, that's everything. That's the real magic that turns a project in a dorm room into a global powerhouse. And Doerr saw this over and over again. It wasn't a lack of good ideas that made startups fail. It was a failure to get the right stuff done. It really is the multi-million-dollar question every leader has to ask. You've got the vision, you've got a team of smart, talented people, but somehow you still fall short. This gap between what you want to do and what you actually get done, well, it usually comes down to two things: a serious lack of focus and teams that just aren't rowing in the same direction. It's frustrating, it breeds cynicism, and it can burn out even your best people. So let's picture it. It's 1999. There's this little startup, basically still in a garage, with a ping pong table for a boardroom. John Doerr, who had just placed a huge $11.8 million bet on them, shows up with what he called a gift. It wasn't more money, it was a management system, a sharp, effective tool for execution that he had learned from his own mentor at Intel, the one and only Andy Grove. Now, this gift, it wasn't brand new. It had a pretty incredible family tree. It really started back in the 50s with Peter Drucker's idea of management by objectives. Then, in the 70s, Andy Grove took that idea and put it on steroids at Intel, making it way faster, more data-driven, and, crucially, separating it from bonuses and pay. So what Doerr brought to Google was this super refined, battle-tested system he decided to call OKRs. Okay, so that system is called Objectives and Key Results, or just OKRs. And don't let the acronym fool you. It's a surprisingly simple, collaborative way to get entire companies, teams, and even individuals, all focused on what really, truly matters. The whole structure is just brilliantly simple. The objective is your what. It's got to be aspirational, something that gets you excited. It's the destination on the map. The key results, well, those are the how. They are the measurable steps that tell you, with zero ambiguity, whether you actually got there. If you hit all your key results, you've nailed your objective. Simple as that. And this is where it gets really interesting. The quality of your key results makes all the difference. A weak one, like increase lap speed, that's just a wish, it's fuzzy. But a strong one, increase average lap speed by 2%. Now that's a key result. It's razor sharp, it's measurable. As Andy Grove taught, at the end of the period you can ask without argument, did I do it or did I not? It's a simple yes or no. So why is this simple system so powerful? I mean, it's not just about writing down goals, right? Doerr talks about these 4 superpowers that when you put them all together, they create this incredible culture of focus, alignment, accountability, and real ambition. So the first 2 superpowers really work as a team: focus and align. Focus means you publicly commit to just a handful of top objectives. That forces you to make tough calls and say no to some good ideas so you can go after the great ones. And alignment, that comes from making all those goals totally transparent so everyone in the company can see how their work connects to the bigger mission. It just shatters silos and gets everyone pulling in the same direction. Superpower number 3 is tracking. See, OKRs aren't something you just set at the beginning of the quarter and then forget about. No way. They are living, breathing targets. You track them with real data, you talk about them in check-ins, and you grade them objectively. And if an OKR is in trouble, it's not about playing the blame game, it's about triggering a rescue plan. It's accountability, not judgment. And this brings us to the 4th, and you could argue the most powerful superpower of all: the ability to stretch for amazing. OKRs create this really clear line between 2 types of goals. You've got your committed goals. These are the things you absolutely have to get done. But then you have your aspirational goals. These are the moonshots, the big, hairy, audacious goals that are designed to push you way beyond your comfort zone. This philosophy is it's baked right into the DNA of a place like Google. It's what Doerr calls the gospel of 10x. You're not aiming for a 10% improvement. You're aiming to be 10 times better. That kind of thinking forces you to completely rethink a problem, and it sparks creativity and real innovation. Because let's face it, playing it safe is never going to get you there. And this completely flips the script on what success means. With these stretch goals, if you hit 100%, it probably means your goal wasn't ambitious enough. The real sweet spot, the badge of honor, is hitting around 70%, or a 0.7. That proves you pushed the limits and still managed to do something pretty remarkable.
The perfect example of this in the wild is the story of Google Chrome. When the team, led by Sundar Pichai, first launched the browser, they set this absolutely massive stretch goal for how many people would use it.
So back in 2008, their big stretch goal was 20 million users. And they missed it. But that failure was actually a gift. It forced them to learn and rethink everything. So 2 years later, they set a new, even crazier goal, 100 million users. And this time, they blew right past it. That early miss is what paved the way for Chrome to eventually take over the world. All right, so OKRs are the framework for the work, right? But what about the actual people doing the work? A system of just targets and scores, that's not enough to help people really grow and thrive. And that's where the sister system comes in, a system designed to give OKRs a human voice. The annual performance review. We all know it. It's a source of anxiety. It's biased. It's just demotivating. It's a system from a totally different era. So the question was, how do you build a system for managing performance that is just as agile and forward-looking as the OKRs themselves? And the answer is CFRs. That stands for Conversations, Feedback, and Recognition. And these aren't just one-time things, they're continuous. Conversations are real, two-way dialogues. Feedback isn't just top-down, it's real-time and it comes from all over. And recognition is about celebrating the wins, big and small, all the time, not just once a year. CFRs are what make OKRs feel human. When you put OKRs and CFRs together, something really powerful happens. The manager's job completely changes. They stop being a taskmaster who just judges what you did in the past. They become a coach, a mentor, an advocate for their team's growth. The whole focus shifts from grading people to actually developing them. And look, this isn't just some nice theory. Let's talk about Adobe. They famously got rid of their annual reviews and switched to a system they call check-in, which is basically CFRs. The results? Absolutely staggering. First, they got back 80,000 manager hours a year. Think about that. 80,000 hours that were being poured into a process nobody liked. But even more importantly, that annual spike in employees quitting right after their reviews, it just vanished. Voluntary attrition dropped a lot. So, okay, this works for huge tech companies. We get that. But the real magic of this whole framework is just how adaptable it is. It's for everyone. I mean, this framework is being used everywhere. Bono's One campaign uses it to fight extreme poverty. The Gates Foundation uses it to track their progress against diseases like polio and malaria. Startups are using it to align their teams while they try to reinvent entire industries. The principles are just universal, because at the end of the day, they tap into this deep human need for purpose, for clarity, and for making progress. So really, this is so much more than a business school trick. It's a whole philosophy for creating cultures where people feel empowered to work together on things that actually matter. It's a system for alignment and accountability, for sure, but it's also about building up the ambition you need to do something truly remarkable. And that leaves us with a final question. Whether you're running a company, managing a small team, or maybe even just thinking about your own life goals, the principles are exactly the same. This explainer has been about a system, yes, but at its heart, it's about clarity. What is it that matters most to you? And how will you know when you've achieved it?